Hi, this is Dara Hoffman Fox, and I'm a gender therapist. You have found the Conversations with a Gender Therapist YouTube channel. I'm going to be starting a new segment today, and this is going to be a question and answer segment. I'm going to try to do this on a regular basis, and I think that this could be a good way for me to try to answer as many questions as I can from those of you out there who have them. The easiest way I think for me to get questions is for me to get them from my Conversations with a Gender Therapist Facebook page. So here's what I'm going to do. Every Wednesday, I'm going to put a post up on that page and ask you if you have any questions. And so what I ask is if you could make them as short as possible and general as well, so I won't be able to give really specific individual answers. But if you can ask some questions that I can maybe help other people who have the same questions, which I bet there's a lot of people who have the same questions you do, then I can use that and include them in this video segment. So if you want to find that Facebook page, just go to Facebook and type in Conversations with a Gender Therapist and then like that page. It's probably a good idea to set it so that you receive all notifications from the page. That way you'll be reminded when it is that I ask you for questions. Well, let's get into it. I've got two questions today that I'm going to be answering. So the first one came from somebody who asked if I have advice for folks whose mental health is out of control, but they still need to transition. And so this is a great question, and I know it's one that a lot of people have contacted me about and worry about. The first piece of advice that I'm going to give is that if at all possible, please try to have a team of professionals who are helping you. So that means having a therapist or a counselor, and also having a psychiatrist or psychologist, somebody that you work with who helps you, let's say, with the psychiatric side of things. For you to be able to have a team of people helping you through transition, that's going to really increase your chances of being able to keep an eye on all the different aspects of yourself as you're transitioning. And so that's going to help that's not only going to help with that part of it, but if you, let's say, want to start hormone therapy and you need to be able to provide a letter from a therapist to a physician that says that you are ready to start hormone therapy, that letter is going to need to include some information about your current mental health. And this is going to be also true for a lot of different surgeries that you might want to get. So if you have any mental health issues aside from gender dysphoria, that doesn't mean you can't transition. Please know that. What the standards of care advise is that your extenuating mental health issues are being addressed, meaning are you on medication, are you in therapy, are you in group therapy, that kind of thing. And so it's important that not only for yourself and your well-being, but it also helps in terms of you being able to successfully be able to navigate the whole letter writing process. Now, the other thing I want to be sure I mention is that you never know how much of your mental health might be due to having gender dysphoria, your mental health issues having to do with gender dysphoria. And perhaps you do know to a certain extent, but it's important that you are able to begin to address your gender dysphoria and then be able to see how much does that help in terms of some other mental health issues that you have. One thing that'll help you figure out is you'll then be able to know, okay, I have transitioned, here's the different ways that I feel better, but here's the ways I still don't feel better. At least then you know, and you'll know better what it is that you need to address. And so it's kind of like taking it one step at a time, peeling things apart one layer at a time. It can be hard sometimes to know what should you do first, address your mental health issues or address the gender dysphoria. Ideally, you'll be able to do both at the same time, but addressing the gender dysphoria is going to be really, really important for you to do. I have a great resource for you. If you have not heard of Sam Dillon Finch, he is a transgender writer and an advocate, and he blogs about the intersectionality of mental health and illness and transgender identity. This is something that I have had a lot of people say they have felt like he really speaks to them, that his voice it feels like the same voice that they've been wanting to have when it comes to what it's like to be transgender and transition, and to also have a variety of mental health illnesses or issues that you're struggling with as well. That can be found at letsqueerthingsup.com, and I'll put that in the notes so you can be sure to look that up. The second question I'm going to talk about is somebody wanted to know, how can they better learn to accept rejection? They went on to say that they know that there's people out there who are not going to accept trans people because of their own narrow-mindedness, and they know that this is out of their control. So that what they want to know is, how can they let it not hurt them as much? Well, first thing I was going to say is that you're off to a good start. The fact that you recognize that this is, in large part, it's their issue. They're the ones that are, as you stated it, narrow-minded. And that is also helpful that you recognize that that's not in your control. So what you're trying to do is figure out what is in your control, which is your reactions and how you feel about it. I kind of thought about this in terms of, like, if you were my client, what would I do? Because this can be a pretty in-depth issue that would need a lot of time spent around it. Because what I would want to do is help you explore these feelings of rejection and explore your original feelings of rejection. I know it sounds a lot like what a counselor would say, but I am a counselor. Figuring out what specifically hurts so much about rejection in general, what parts of you feel like they are being attacked or being told that they are wrong, and knowing, really getting to know that hurt. That's how I describe it, is that you are actually going to be wanting to explore the hurt that you feel inside when you are rejected. Where did it come from? Who maybe originally rejected you and made you feel that way? And trying to figure out, is there a certain belief system you were taught about yourself that's really negative? And is there a way that you can form a new belief system about yourself? So that's just generally trying to deal with rejection and how to be able to understand it better and where it comes from. That's going to help you be able to at least recognize when it comes up. Oh, I recognize this. I know where this comes from. This makes sense that I would feel rejected right now. It can help you gain a little bit more control over what can feel like a really scary and overwhelming emotion that can come up. The other thing is that you'll want to check with yourself to see if there's any internalized transphobia at play, meaning, are there certain beliefs about being trans that perhaps you still have that are negative? That can be really tough to explore because it can be hard to admit that to oneself. But taking the time to recognize, are there certain things about being trans that you still need to be able to accept and heal, and recognize, that in itself could also help it hurt less. Because if somebody's rejecting you, you very well could then be rejecting yourself before they even rejected you. Oh, I know, that's so deep. I hope you could follow me there. The other thing is, think about who is doing the rejecting and look at it separately. Let's say strangers. To you, what does it feel like when it feels like strangers are rejecting you? Maybe somebody out in public. Maybe you see different comments on a story that's online or some social media, something's going on, and you feel rejected. These are people, let's say, that don't know you. That type of rejection should be explored separately than if there's people in your life that are close to you, family, friends, people that you care about the way they see you. That's going to take a different approach to be able to look at that type of rejection. So instead of looking at it as one big ball of rejection, it's important to piece it apart and figure out which types of rejection hurt the most and really try to focus on those. And of course, I always suggest, if you can, find a therapist or a counselor who you're able to talk to about this so they can help you with exploring this and also giving you maybe some ideas for self-care and maybe if you can't get a therapist at this time, or you don't have someone in your area you feel like you can work with, try to find different support groups online or people online who have been through this before and can offer advice to you. If you have any thoughts that you can put in the YouTube comments below about ways that you have been able to deal with rejection, put that below, and then maybe that will be something that this person can use. Well, that's it for the first question and answer segment of this YouTube series. Let me know what you think of it in the comments below. And like I said, on Wednesdays, go to the Conversations with a Gender Therapist Facebook page. And then be sure to like the page and set it so that you receive notifications. And I'll put a call out there for questions and answers. And I look forward to seeing yours.